Hey guys, I'm Samcrac and I bought another Lemon. This one is an AMG Mercedes and I'm pretty excited about it, even though I actually had this car stored right here behind the barn for several months now and really hasn't served a purpose until today. We're gonna do something very fun with this car and, well, I'm gonna show it to you. It's right over there. I just gotta get past the cows here. No, you're fine. Stay there. Stay there. You're good. Check it out. This is a 2004 CLK55 AMG Coupe that was bought back by Mercedes at around 12 or 13,000 miles. The car now has over 130,000 miles on it, proving that my friend Steve Lato, well, can just be wrong. Now, I frequently do searches on Autotempest.com for certain unique cars, specifically cheap AMG cars. When this car popped up, it was the cheapest V8 powered AMG in the entire country, and I bought it for even cheaper than it was listed for. Autotempest is the best way to find cars online. With so many automotive marketplaces available, Autotempest simplifies the process of finding the right car by including all the search results from every major automotive marketplace on one easy-to-read page. With multiple search options, the results are tailored exactly to you. If you guys enjoy a car bargain hunt like I do, be sure to head on over to Autotempest.com. You can do so using my link in the description box below. This Lemon Mercedes is the third car I have now purchased using Autotempest. I simply believe it is just a better way to find cars online than all the other options out there. And if you enjoy using it as much as I do, be sure to recommend it to a friend or a family member who's in the market for a new or used car. Huge thanks to Autotempest for being a continued sponsor of the channel. Now, before I get into the specifics of the CLK55, tell you exactly how much I paid for it, tell you exactly why it's a Lemon, and just show you the overall condition of it, we've got to get this car out on the road. It's been sitting here for almost 4 months now, and it's just not fair to this car. Well, because it runs so darn good. Let's get inside and let's take it for a ride. For a car that's over a decade old, the CLK has a ton of advanced technology in it, like the door handles that automatically unlock the doors with the key just left in your pocket. You don't need to use the buttons on the key itself. The next cool feature that the AMG has is push button start here on the shifter. Foot on the brake, key in your pocket, press the button, and there you go. I'll open up the window here so you can hear it a little bit better. But whenever we give this car a little rev, this car's straight piped. Now, what would an old Mercedes be without a handful of messages here on the dashboard? We've got the SRS light, which I did scan and it pointed to a sensor or module in the rear corner of the car. And we've got the brake wear visit workshop. No big deal, that's just a brake sensor. Let's get this thing on the road and see how it does. First found this car, like I already told you, this was the cheapest functioning V8 powered AMG Mercedes on Autotempest.com at $5,500. The other cool thing was only a couple hundred miles away from me, so I contacted the owner. I offered him $4 grand because I knew, being an old Mercedes AMG, 130,000 miles, it wouldn't be perfect and there would be a little bit of work that it needs to have. He didn't accept initially, thought it was too low, and these cars were trading hands between like $6,000 and $7,000. Well, a couple weeks later, I don't think he had gotten any higher offers. I do think that the Lemon title did affect that a little bit, and so he called me back and ended up taking the $4 grand for this car. Now, why it was bought back, I don't know exactly, but the Carfax report shows that this car went in to the Mercedes Service Center a handful of times for a radio issue, and it says electrical system checked a few of those times, so I'm guessing it had to do with the radio, something electrical. The car was bought back with right around 13,000 miles on it. Now, when a car was bought back at 13,000 miles and now has in excess of 130,000 miles, tells me that the Lemon issue is no longer an issue. Again, it's an old AMG, so it is going to have a handful of other issues, but other than that, to me, it really shouldn't devalue the car much, even though it did. Got a little sideways there. Oh yeah, this thing moves. When I knew I was buying this car, I really had a huge vision for it. I wanted to do a Black Series wide body on it. You know, they sell a wide body kit for like a couple $1,000s, and then you could put those really wide rear tires on it and make it look like the 63 AMG Black Series, a car that still trades for like over $100,000 today, and it's one of the coolest looking Mercedes ever produced. Now, whenever I saw the car in person, saw that the body was, again, pretty good but not perfect, and figured how much work would actually be involved in that and how much time would be involved in that, I kind of threw that idea out really quick. And I immediately thought about when I had Turbo Mike come over to inspect the car right as I got it home. Now, Turbo Mike is a mechanic buddy of mine. You've probably seen him in some of the past videos. He really helps me when it comes to a lot of my rebuild projects. He's been a real great help and friend over the last few years. When I let Mike drive the car for the first time, he lit up. The only thing he really found wrong with it was a leaky valve cover gasket, which is like not that much money, and it's fairly simple to replace. After that drive, I really knew that Mike should end up with this car. Now, Mike actually has two jobs. He works at the auto parts store, but his main job is working with individuals with disabilities, teaching them auto mechanics. Mike is really one of the hardest working guys I know, and I'm gonna surprise him with it today. I'm gonna bring him this car. He's already seen it, so he'll just think I'm driving it around, and then I'm gonna give it to him. Mike's current car, the Money Pit Jetta, a car that some of you guys know very well. But I'll fill you in on it when we get to his work. I'll show you around it. It's really been struggling as of late. Last he told me he thinks that the water pump is leaking. Car's only got like 35 to 40,000 miles on it. It's had no AC for the past year, and we live in Florida. So even though this is a much older car, even though this car has substantially more miles on it, I think it will be a tremendous upgrade for him. And again, he'll just have a lot of fun driving it around. Kind of like I'm having a lot of fun driving it around right now. Now, we're almost to Mike's work. When we get there, like I said, I'm going to show you around. I'm going to show you what he does. I'll show you the Money Pit Jetta. And well, I hope that he likes this. Mike's kind of a quiet guy, so I'm not sure what sort of reaction we'll get out of him, but we'll see what happens. All right, we are here at Mike's work. I see the Money Pit Jetta parked back there. I'll give you guys a brief history on the Money Pit Jetta. I'll show you around what it looks like currently, and let's see if we can't find Mike in action teaching some of these students. He's got a real fun job here. This is the Money Pit Jetta GLI. It's a car I've dubbed the Money Pit Jetta GLI because it has cost me way more money than it's worth. Now, this is a car that I bought from a salvage auction, and it looked like it had really light damage in the front passenger corner there. I started having it repaired. It took months on end. Then somebody ran into it again, as you can see right here. And on top of all that, a lot of the electronics don't work. Now, Mike and I had worked on the mechanics of the Money Pit Jetta for at least a couple months. We got like 95% of everything working in it, but there was one touch-up the body shop had to do. Of course, if you heard my stories about the body shops, one touch-up took in excess of weeks. So I went to pick up the car a couple weeks later, and because they didn't seal off an area there in the front corner where it sucks in fresh AC from the outside, when it rained, it completely flooded the passenger side of the car. I did a video on it. I'll link it down below. But anyway, it killed all of the electronic stuff from functioning properly. The electronic stuff like the AC and the windows. So we were back at square one. At the same time, Mike's Volkswagen GTI, the clutch went out on it. The car had like 170, 180 miles on the original clutch, and Mike needed a way to get to work. So I said, hey Mike, you know, this car doesn't have AC. Some of the electronics don't work, but you know, maybe in your spare time you can work on it. Take the car and drive it around, get to work, until you find a means to fix the other car or whatnot. Well, a year plus later, the Money Pit Jetta still works, although it definitely has a few new issues to it. And we'll be doing an update video on this soon because I plan to finally get rid of it, especially since we'll be giving Mike that AMG. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good.
You got first place?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations. What sport? Now, when I set out to find Mike's class, a few of the students actually found me first. Now, in the past, I've actually worked and volunteered at Life Inc., the school that Mike works at. So it was really nice to see some of the students I had previously worked with and meet some of the new ones. And what, bowling?
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Hey, What's going on? I know you, JD. What's going on? What do you got in your hand? Tell me what that is.
The mechanic stuff.
The mechanic stuff. I like that. And what are you working on today? Show me what you're working on.
He's doing his. With that, he's doing him.
Okay, but what are you working on? Which car? This one right here?
No.
Oh, down here. Let's go look at it. Come on. Come on. Today's task was to do a tire rotation on a staff member's car. Unfortunately, this car had a broken wheel key and a couple stripped lug nuts, so things weren't as easy as they seemed. Running out of solutions and time, Mike took the students on a quick field trip to the local auto parts store. What's up?
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Tell me why.
To get to the other side.
What you talking about to knock it off?
Why did Mr. Mike go to the auto parts store?
Why? Because he needs stuff. Mr. Sam loves cats, just not the behavior.
That's one of my old friends and students, Jarrett, talking. I always gave him a hard time about how I didn't like cats. By the time we got back, we were pretty close to dismissal, so I returned in the morning where I was greeted by Jonathan, another one of Mike's students, who checks the transmission fluid and oil on all the vans every single morning when he arrives.
So I gotta check this one first.
Okay, what is that? Do you know?
Oil.
That's the oil, okay?
Yeah.
And what does it look like?
It's good.
Good, okay.
I gotta do it the second time.
Okay.
This look good. Peel it back in.
Now, who taught you how to do all this?
Mr. Mike.
Okay. All right, now what's the next thing we're checking? You got the oil done. What is this?
Transmission fluid.
Okay. What does that look like?
It's look good.
Okay.
I gotta do it.
Do it
again.
twice, right?
Yeah.
All right, before you wipe it off, let's look at it. Let's see. What does it look like? Looks,
Good.
good. Once all the students arrived at class, Mike showed him a YouTube video on how to remove a stubborn wheel lock. He then gave him a quick lesson on engine stroke.
So the first stroke that we're on here is intake.
Okay.
And we have compression.
Compression.
What's the next one?
Shortly after, they were back to work replacing the brakes on this Ford Excursion and swapping out a broken mirror on this pickup truck. With so many school buses and vans and of course staff members' cars, there's always mechanical work to be done at Life Inc. All right, tell me one thing Mr. Mike has taught you here in automotive class. Go ahead.
4 strokes: intake, compression, power, and exhaust.
Very good.
Change of the oil.
How to change oil? Okay.
Just check out transmission fluid in the engine oil.
Oh, very good. Transmission fluid, engine oil. Jared, one thing Mr. Mike has taught you here in automotive class.
Is to do the hammer thing.
How to hammer what?
The nail tire.
Nail in a tire. How to hammer. No, I know what Jared. Look, Jared is telling us if you've got a stuck lug nut, you hammer, right?
Right.
You hammer what? A socket on the lug, right?
Right.
Very good. Okay. Give me one thing Mr. Mike has taught you here in automotive class.
How to look at compression on the tires to check the air on the tires.
Okay, check how much pressure is in the tire, right? Billy, one thing Mr. Mike has taught you here in automotive class. You know one thing. Just come up with one thing. How to fix, look, what is this? How to fix a mirror. How to fix a broken mirror. Go ahead, give me one thing Mr. Mike has taught you in automotive class.
Ooh, how about, let me see, how about standing on the jack stand and trying to turn it the other way to fix the wheel.
Okay.
The brake bar.
I was gonna say standing on the jack stand is probably not a good. Okay, very good guys. Thank you very much. Give it up for Mr. Mike. Give it up for your teacher, Mr. Mike. All right, I'm in a storage closet right across from Mike's classroom. Now school just let out, his class is left for the day, and he's gonna be leaving within the next like 20 or 30 minutes, but I wanna go to his classroom, get him and surprise him, tell him we're giving him the AMG. Hey Mike.
What's up?
Hey, come and look at this outside really quick. I wanna show you something.
You can't go out that door.
Doesn't work? Okay.
You just have to really smash it.
Mike, how long have you been driving the Jetta for?
Probably about a year and a half now.
A year and a half, and in that year and a half, I was supposed to get better. I remember telling you that maybe you should work on a few things.
It's gotten worse.
So the latest thing that is really
bottomless money pit
the
is what it is. Literally.
the one thing that's gotten worse, I don't know exactly where it's leaking, but it's leaking coolant, right?
Yeah, it's leaking coolant from the front of the motor. I don't know if it's a water pump or the thermostat. I have to put coolant in like every 3 or 4 days.
4 days. Okay, well, I think that I personally had enough with the money pit Jetta. I don't know about you. I do know it's getting you to work right now.
Yeah, it gets me A to B.
Okay, well, the Mercedes. Now, Mike's seen the Mercedes before, and he actually drove it. I let him kind of go through it when I got it home because I noticed that it was leaking a little bit of oil, but...
Yeah, I remember the valve covers were leaking, and it's just like $20, $30 fix.
Okay, so really, $20, $30 fix. Of course, we got those lights. Maybe it needs some brake pads up. Really inexpensive stuff, nothing major. So from one reliable German car to the other, Mike, what do you say you swap the money pit Jetta GLI for the CLK55 AMG?
For what? For how much? What?
Well, I was just thinking about giving it to you, actually.
As a gift?
Well, I guess you could call it a gift. I mean, you've helped me a lot with a lot of my projects and stuff. I know that you're helping these students out here. Just thought it might be nice for you to have AC and, you know, drive a nice car, man. So here you go. It's for you.
Really?
I'm dead serious.
I give you a hug?
I don't...
Are you sure?
No. Look at Mike's hands. No joke, like Mike never washes his hands. I don't... Thanks for the hug anyway. But yeah, enjoy it, man. Enjoy the AC. I mean, I think you deserve it.
It's a lot of car.
Huge thanks to Mike for all the help he's given me over the last few years with all the cars. Mike, enjoy the CLK55. Please, please, please do not wreck this car. It's got a good amount more power than the Jetta, so. Feel a little bit more manly than a Jetta?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know it doesn't make the most sense getting rid of one German headache for what could potentially be another German headache, but really this platform AMG is one of the most reliable, and this car, I could just tell you right off the bat, is a substantially better car all around than the money pit Jetta. Only the money pit Jetta in particular. That car suffered such huge damage that it's almost irrecoverable, and it's just been a major nightmare. Stay tuned, we're gonna get rid of that car very soon. There'll be one final money pit Jetta tribute. Goodbye. But until then, I want to give a huge thanks to Autotempest.com for making this possible. I want to give a huge thanks to Mike and Life Inc., the school that he works out, for doing such good in the community. They're really a great program. I'll link them in the description box below so you guys can check out what they do. And also want to give a huge thanks to you guys for watching at home. Really appreciate it. Until next time, I will catch you very soon. So really, the paint condition on this car is not bad whatsoever. It could use a really nice polish and it would look near new. There are, however, a few dents. Again, nothing really huge on it. One thing that I'm not a big fan of, somebody painted the brake calipers green, the rims were painted black. I really think this car looks classic with the silver Mercedes rims. Otherwise, it's got, you know, cross-drilled front rotors. The headlights, they're in desperate need of a polishing. The grills, some of them are missing down here, but a lot of those actually came in the trunk. It's got that 5.5 liter V8, missing the Mercedes badge right here, but they added a V8 badge up here to compensate for it. Really not in that bad a shape, again, for 130,000 miles. We keep going around. Again, it's what you would expect from a 130,000 mile car. Really, it's just the front and rear bumper that needs some paint. You can see the paint, the clear coat is completely faded on the rear here. One of the really cool things on this car that I think most people would like, but I must be an old man, I'm not a big fan of, it actually has the quad AMG exhaust tips on it. These are real Mercedes AMG parts, but the car is in fact straight piped, and on the highway driving it home from South Florida, It drones, and I'm just not a big fan of that. The interior is about fair condition for its age. Passenger seat's pretty good. The driver's seat does have a few tears on the bottom part here. Right in that envelope are the pieces to make the rear windows operate again. Those are the only things that do not work properly. The actuator is broken inside the, well, there's no door inside whatever you call this, the quarter panel trim here. So those would have to be removed, but like I said, I already ordered the pieces for like $20 off of eBay. So again, not expensive to fix.